Just makes the decision to be happy in the here and now. No matter how your life circumstances are right now, it will not be changed when you worry or are afraid of something. If something happens, it happens anyway, and know you can deal with it. There will be nothing happen in your life that you cannot deal with, that you cannot fix, that you cannot make better or change completely. Sometimes we have to start changing ourselves before our life circumstances can change. So make the decision, you take charge of your life right now. This is the point, this is the time right now. The time is now, my dear friends. So begin looking forward into a wonderful future, because your future can only be how you create your future, how your future want to be, based on your goals, your vision. And so let me ask you first, what do you really want out of life? Because the only thing that matters are results, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what people talk about, what they're going to do, it only matters what people do. So action comes always first. And then, my dear friends, you will understand that you have a magnificent life and you have an unbelievable future. Trust in yourself, trust in your future. It will all be good. Because you control your life, you create your actions, your decisions, your goals, and this creates your future. Your future is not an accumulation of circumstances, or it's just happening in a way that you don't control. You control everything. Everything that happens in your life right now, you caused it. And if you don't take charge and control over your life, over the decisions you made, over the actions you took, or the actions you didn't take, if you didn't take an action that you should have done it, you knew you should have done it, and you didn't do it, so what? Start new. Make a decision. Make a decision to live right now and be happy right now. Be healthy right now. In our world today, my dear friends, there are so many people out there that tell you you have to change your diet, and your diet changes will cure you from whatever, which is not true. I have not seen in my life once that somebody cured him or herself solely through diet, because our diet builds our body. You are what you eat in the whole meaning of the words, because your new cells are built from the building blocks you give your body. Therefore, it should be always non-GMO, it should be always fresh, it should be always healthy diet, and it should be a diet that doesn't make you feel bad after you eat. If you stand up after eating and you are tired, you just ate the wrong thing. And you need to learn to eat things that go well with your body. Just try for one day to just eat living food, vegetables or fruit, drink a lot of water. The human being actually needs a gallon of water a day with half a teaspoon of pink salt, Himalayan salt in it, because without salt there is no electricity in your body, and the salt helps the body to create electricity for muscle function, brain function. So you need a lot of salt. Don't let anybody tell you you shouldn't have salt, but you should have the right kind of salt. You should have pink salt or Himalayan salt, which is mined and normally clear. And the more pink it is, the darker pink it is, the healthier it is, because pink salt usually still have all the minerals in it that we need for a perfect function. So just start right now. Get up, get a glass of water, sprinkle a little bit of pink salt in it, and drink it, and you feel better and more energized right away. So grab your glass of water and cheers. You will also figure out the more healthy water you drink, meaning I, for example, have a whole house water filter system. We still filter our water for the baby extra with a different filter system, and it tastes better, it makes you feel better, and gives you energy. We are nearly built out of water. People say we are 76% built from water, which is not true. We are nearly 92, 98% built on water. The rest is just really bone and teeth, and that's kind of like changes the the point of view where people say, oh, the body is only built 70% out of water, because they don't calculate or don't reduce the body or body weight about all these bone structures and the teeth. And if you throw all of this in, of course, then you are not built nearly 100% from water. And the water is like, it's like a river. If you have a river that's muddy and dirty, and the river is stuck, all the fish, all the life in this river will die really fast. But if a river is flowing, it gets rid of all the toxins, all the dirt, and renews and refreshes itself all the time. So the more frequent you drink water, and the healthier the water is, the healthier you are. So it's like a river needs to flow, because if you don't drink enough, if you have dehydration, the body thinks it doesn't get enough water and it's going to die. So it keeps on hanging on to the water in your system and doesn't relieve the toxins, because this is why you need to urinate, and that's why you need to go to the restroom, because you're relieving your body from toxins. And if you drink a lot of water, you also urinate out a lot of minerals and vitamins, which is a smart idea to have a really good supplement, a really good multivitamin, but you have to have a really good one. Please write us if you want to know what to take and where to get it, where I get it, and write to ibms@drleonardcoldwell.com, and I will give you, or my team will give you all the answers you seek. What's the best thing to detoxify your body? You have to have a regular detoxification, because we accumulate so many toxins from the air that we breathe, or the environment, everything we touch. The skin is our largest organ and absorbs basically everything, like poisons from the dry cleaners, or through clothes, if you don't really wash your clothes really well. And also it needs to be the right way to wash your clothes. Also for that, we have solutions and answers if you write to ibms@drleonardcoldwell.com, and we give you sources where we buy our things and what we buy, because there are so many poisons, there are so many toxins in deodorant, in perfumes, or if the clothes comes from China, there are a lot of toxic elements in that clothes that's going to be absorbed from your body if you don't really wash right. And with healthy detergents, also clean your floors with healthy, safe elements. But these are just the physical basics of being strong and healthy, because the more your body has to deal with poison or detoxification, the lesser your body has energy to heal, to regenerate. 1 to 7 billion liver cells renew each second. So you have basically, statistically, every 6 weeks a brand new liver. If your liver is messed up, if you have some kind of liver problems, if you have detoxification problems, if the liver is clogged, then your body will develop toxemia, meaning self-toxification, and a lot of people get sick from that, and the result can be gallbladder stones. That's why you should be always doing a gallbladder cleanse. A lot of cancers are diagnosed falsely because people have a parasitic infection, and these parasites build nests, and very often these nests are misdiagnosed as cancerous tumors, which they are not. And this is what very often gets cut out of the colon, and they tell you it was a cancerous tumor or something bad, while it's just the accumulation of eggs from a parasitic infection. And we also can refer you to a really good and safe and most of all effective parasite cleanse. The main side effect of that is most people lose about 5 to 10 pounds after they do a full body, full parasite cleanse. There's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good companies out there, but there are also a lot of really bad companies out there, mainly in the multivitamin creation. They just throw in there whatever they can find or whatever is cheap and tell you get all these vitamins with just one capsule or 1 tablespoon of whatever in the glass. And believe me, it's not necessarily good. You can be poisoned by cleanses, you can be poisoned by your vitamins and supplements if they are not from lab controlled source. And this is why I only endorse a very few products, and most of all, a very few people that are producing these products, because most supplements come from China, which is potentially highly toxic and damaging. The products from China usually contain mold, rat feces, mouse urine, and a lot of bad stuff. The fish that comes from China is usually raised in sewage, literally in sewage. These fish eat feces all day and swim in urine and feces all their lives, and then they send it to us to eat. I personally use nothing that comes from China. It has nothing to do with my political opinion or with the fight the United States have with China or the potential fight. And it's really, really important, my dear friends, to always know who's producing the supplements you are taking and where you can get really safe ones. As I said, if you want my suggestions and what I take, write me to IBMS, stands for Instinct Based Medicine System, IBMS at drleonardcoldwell.com. And Dr. Leonard Coldwell at startmail.com. Sorry. We are willing to help because we are seeing now more and more people getting really health oriented, but you cannot get healthy through supplements. You cannot stay healthy just through supplements, because you have to cleanse your mind. You have to free yourself from unnecessary stress. Every illness is based on lack of energy, and this lack of energy is mainly caused from living in constant worries, doubts, and fears. And most of all, living in chronic stress, which is basically the physical root cause for cancer. Cancer is, in my experience, after 52 years of helping over 60,000 patients with autoimmune diseases like cancer, to free themselves from the symptoms and most of all from the root cause of their specific illness, so that the illness, which is just a symptom, disappears on its own. If you eliminate the cause, the root cause of your body's malfunction, then you eliminate the symptoms, meaning the illness. And I have seen literally in my own practice cancer patients getting cured from tumors the size of a fist after making a decision to get rid of their root cause. Like they live in a horrible personal environment with an alcoholic spouse, or getting beaten by that spouse, or live in horrible compromises against themselves with their work, going to a job where they get constantly mobbed or have problems with the boss. If this is the case, you have to find a new job. I know it's hard, I know these times are hard, but you cannot make a constant chronic compromise against yourself without getting sick. Nathan is just writing chemo right away, followed by stem cell implants. the medical treatment for cancer is basically, in my experience, in my opinion, the main cause of death and not of health. There's nobody that I know of that has been ever cured by chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery from cancer. That doesn't happen. If you know anything different, please write me. But after 52 years of curing cancer patients or patients with autoimmune diseases, I can tell you, nature can cure you. You're built from nature. You are born to be a champion. You're born perfect. We just need to get back to this point of being perfect, being ourselves. Most of all, we need to learn to be selfish, and not selfish on the cost of others, or not selfish against others, selfish for us ourselves. Take a little baby. A baby just screams when it's hungry, and it doesn't stop until you feed it. So the baby is completely selfish, perfectly selfish in a healthy way, and that's what we do. We need to do the right things over and over again. We need to request the right things over and over again until we feel better, until we feel stronger, until we feel more energized. For you to get healthy, ask yourself, what did you do to make yourself unhealthy? What did you do to make yourself sick? What did you allow the environment or other people to do to feel bad and therefore get stressed out and therefore get weak and unhealthy? Health is something that's normal and natural. Chemotherapy is based on mustard gas, and mustard gas was created to kill soldiers on the battlefield. And after the Geneva Convention, it's even forbidden as a war chemical. That's how highly toxic it is. So not one of my cancer patients ever was allowed to have chemotherapy. And if they already had chemotherapy, I didn't work with them because it's too hard to get rid of the damage that the chemotherapy was causing. And basically, when a doctor tells you you have 3 months to live, it's basically on the amount, based on the amount of chemotherapy and radiation you get or damaging surgeries you have gotten. Your lymph system, you have 4 times more lymph liquid than blood, is your physical immune system. It grabs all the bad stuff, neutralizes this, and it leads it out. And if they, for example, with a woman with breast cancer, take out the lymph nodes, even the lymph nodes from the breast and underneath the arm, they basically take out the only part of your body that can help you to recover, regenerate, get healthy. If you want to do surgery, if you want to do chemo, if you want to do radiation, please do, but do it only after you did all the necessary research. Go on to these good AI search engines like Brighteon.ai and find out about the dangers or potential dangers and side effects of the treatments you're considering to get. Because basically, Dr. Gary Null conducted a study, a 7-year-long study. Death by Medicine is for free on the internet. Death by Medicine, Dr. Gary Null, and concluded that the doctor in the Western world is the main cause of death. And if I remember it right, the pharmaceutical industry is the main cause of illness or new illness. Just read the side effects of every medication before you take it, and be aware of, I am not your therapist, you don't pay me, therefore you're not my patient, and everything I tell you is based on my personal opinion and based on my personal experience. So you have to really do your research on your end, then make a decision. Never ever do surgery based on just one doctor's opinion or suggestion. Always get a second opinion. Always ask your friends, do you know a naturopath? Do you know a good doctor that's using natural medicine or treatments? And find out. There are enough there. You just need to find them And since they are not advertised through the mainstream media, and that's the main problem that the pharmaceutical industry is buying or paying the advertisement from the mainstream media, and so they will basically not bite the hand that feeds them and really not tell you necessarily the truth about natural healing or the dangers of chemical medicine. Your medical doctor, if he didn't get educated on its own, doesn't have an hour of healthy nutrition or health or healing in his entire time of medical study. And this is where you need to come in. You need to come in and make the decision, I'm going to do the research, I'm going to take charge of my own health. And the instinct-based medicine system is exactly that. I invented the instinct-based medicine system to cure cancer patients because all 7 siblings of my mom died of cancer. My mom had cancer, liver cancer in a terminal state. My mom had liver cirrhosis, a fatty liver, and liver cancer in a terminal state with 6 months to live about 50 years ago. My mom was my very first patient. I cured my mom, even if they all said, everybody in the medical profession said there is no help, nobody can get better from terminal liver cancer, and nobody gets cured most of all, and they have no data for that and they have no proof of that. That's fine. They can think and do whatever they think and do, and but you have to make the last decision about what's going on with your health and what you allow them to do. Most of all, under no circumstances should you be an organ donor, because organs can only be taken from a live body. So there's no such thing as brain dead. The Harvard University invented this diagnosis of brain dead only to legalize the final murder of the patient so that they can rip out the organs for organ donations that bring them millions, of course. It can only be taken from a healthy body, from a living body, and there is no medication, there are no painkillers. They cut you open and take the organs out, and you might feel everything of that. They might also have given you something that you cannot really react anymore, but we heard from a lot of doctors, or most of all nurses, that patients that were supposedly brain dead woke up the moment the doctor cut into them and even fought back. And then the doctors are saying these are just reflexes. This person is brain dead, this person is dead, but you cannot take and use organs from a dead body. So therefore, you shouldn't be an organ donor, because if they have to weigh making millions on your organs potentially, so therefore letting you die or getting as close to death as possible, or saving you and getting you healthy again, where they will lose all the millions and all the treatments based on organ donation or organ transplantation, you need to be really aware of the fact it's your life, it's your body. And actually, the main thing I learned in 52 years of dealing with patients with 3 months to live, 6 months to live, 9 months to live, is if you're not selfish enough to take care of yourself, then you might just die because you were not fighting for yourself. The medical doctor usually has everything ready when you get your wig after the chemotherapy and your hair's falling out, and they're always trying to rush you into surgery, or already made an appointment for you for your surgery, so that you don't have the time to consider what's going on, to get educated, to learn about all the dangers of the whatever treatment. That's why it's always so important, always read the entire side effects. Google the potential side effects go to Mike Adams, Brighteon.ai, and research for free using his AI search engine to ask the search engine are the potential dangers, what are the natural treatments before you allow them to cut you open or poison you with treatment or do horrible surgeries on you. And I'm really, really upset about these breast cancer surgeries because what happened, my grandmother was over 50 years, was the end of the Second World War. She was 50 years a nurse, an emergency nurse, and later a midwife. And she had a cancerous growth the size of a fist in one of her breasts. And she had no problems with it. She had, based on all the 8 children she had, a very large breast, so the cancerous tumor didn't hurt, didn't grow, didn't do anything for over 20 years. And a medical doctor, a young medical doctor, scared her and talked her into having surgery. Then they took off her breast with all the lymph nodes and the lymph nodes underneath her arm. And the consequence was that the arm blew up so big that it didn't fit in the coffin anymore after she died. And when I asked the medical doctor that was treating her what happened to her, and he said, yeah, this is what sometimes happens. We knew it would happen, but we didn't think it's happening that fast. But we had to take the chance. And I said to him, you had to take the chance on the life of my grandmother? And he said, yes. So that was the first time I got arrested. And because I'm a very emotional person, and if somebody hurts somebody that I love, they have to deal with the consequences. And that happened in that case. And I straightened the medical doctor out in my way. And most people that know me know I was 36 years in martial arts, full contact, all-style martial arts. And if I hit somebody, they go down and they do not get up again. And so I had to give this medical doctor a lesson. And I don't suggest you should do that because I'm just differently structured. I have no boundaries, I have no worries, no fears. If I get into a fight that I believe is rightful, righteous, and these people have to deal with the consequences. But when he said, we knew this would happen to your grandmother, after all the chemo, after they gave her so much chemo that when you got into her hospital room, you had to wear a gas mask because the entire room was filled with the toxic gases of the chemotherapy that got through her skin. Her skin was broken open all over the body and the chemotherapy came out and filled the room with gas. And that's where my grandmother was living in, or laying in. And she was praying every day to God to let her die. So my grandmother was a very good person, a very caring emergency nurse, a very caring midwife. And after she was retired, she worked for free for mentally handicapped, retarded children. And they all loved her, and she created a lot of strong, healthy little human beings and grew up without their deficiencies, without the symptoms of their retardation. And so you can imagine it really, really hurt when I heard what they did to her and that they didn't care and that they even knew what would happen. Since then, I swore that I will spend my life preventing other patients to have to go through what my mom, all 7 siblings of my mom that died of cancer, all 4 of my grandparents died of cancer, my father died of cancer, my sister had cancer, which I cured in 72 hours, which is very easy actually, because cancer is not an illness. Cancer is an accumulation of symptoms. And since they never care about the root cause, they only care about the symptoms, there is not even the possibility of getting cured. Not one single medical doctor in this world, as far as I know, ever cured any patient from cancer. Always ask your doctor, how many patients with my kind of illness did you have, and how many did you cure, how many are still alive? Then they invent stupid stuff like remission. There's no such thing as remission. You have cancer, you are cancer free. End of story. So basically, the lifespan of a cancer patient is 5 years based on the treatments they give him, not based on the cancer. So be very, very careful before you do anything. And most of all, do not sign the general release form when you get administered into the hospital. They usually give you now in the computer something to sign, which gives them like the right to do whatever they want to do. And they tell you, yeah, if we do surgery on you and we find something else, we do not really want to wake you up. If we find something else that we need to take or want to take, and therefore sign this, and then we can just deal with it right away. This is very, very dangerous. A patient of mine, her father-in-law, signed this general release form, and they did 106 surgeries on him that were not necessary, and nobody could stop them because he signed it. Please remember, there are young doctors, young surgeons that have to do a certain amount of specific surgeries to be licensed or accredited for a specific type of therapy or type of surgery. And this is what they use patients for, mainly coma patients, get eye surgeries and or their legs taken off, which happened to my uncle. He woke up and both legs were gone, and he had eye surgeries, multiple eye surgeries, because they did all the training on him. And he then woke up and lived another 2 years without legs, with vision problems and horrible pain. So I wouldn't sign this. Tell them to print it out, then take the paper, and everything you do not want, you just cross out. Do not sign this general form. And most of all, the most important thing, you have to learn to not trust anybody in the medical field. They make money on your illness or your death or symptom treatment. They don't make money on you getting cured and being and staying healthy. So it's absurd in itself to ask a profession that lives on your illness and suffering to ask for advice, health advice, or to try to make you and keep you healthy. They basically, it should be like in China, where the doctor gets only paid as long as the patient is healthy, and doesn't get paid anymore when the patient gets sick. Because nobody really needs to get sick. There's no such thing as a genetic disease. And what you're hearing right now is my 15-month-old son. And so he really hates getting a bath, and this is the result of it. So, by the way, I'm 67 years old. My son, as I just said, is 15 months. So everything is fully functioning. And if you want to be fully functioning with 60 or 70 or 80 or even 100 or 140, the Cambridge University conducted a study that everybody has potential of living 160 years of age. And what we die earlier, we destroy ourselves to bad nutrition, malnutrition, lack of water, and messing up our body everywhere we can. There's always, don't smoke, don't drink alcohol, and I don't smoke, but I have a good whiskey once in a while with good friends. So my dear friends, be aware of the fact that you know your body best. You have to live with the consequences. If they say we take off your leg, there is 1,400 surgeries conducted in the US per year where they take off the wrong limb. Instead of the left leg, that's bad, they're taking off the right leg, things like that. Happen all the time. And these are not once in a while, these are common bad results if you get in the hands of the medical profession. I don't want to say the medical profession is bad, because many of my friends, good friends, are medical doctors, and they all started out with really great intention to help and heal. And then they figure out over time that they become a slave of the apparatus medicine, meaning at the beginning when the doctor opens up the office, they come on in there and say, you can get these wonderful X-ray machines, these great diagnostic tools, basically for free. You can just start in 5 years to pay it off. And this is how they get them into creating a lot of debt. And if you have a lot of debt that you then have to pay off, you have to work for money and not for healthy results. And that happens too often. It's like the oncologists basically cannot financially survive or strive if they don't do chemotherapy, because that's where the biggest kickbacks are coming. Kickbacks and medical advertisement for drugs or surgery should be illegal, because it's a healing profession, it's a healthy profession, and the Hippocratic Oath, first don't do harm, is completely ignored because it's the first thing they do with chemotherapy or surgery, and usually people never get well again, people never get healthy again. Just go into a hospital in the ward where they do chemotherapy on cancer patients, watch them coming, and when they walk in, they are completely healthy, they are completely look healthy, they are completely fine, and then look at them 3 days later after chemotherapy, and they look 80 years old, they are wrinkled, they are weak, they are physically really down and sick, and you see that kind of treatment cannot even be good. Just your instinct, your normal human common sense will tell you that's not the right thing to do. If a treatment causes me to have my hair falling out or my teeth falling out, how can this be good for the rest of my body or my health, my long-term health? It can't. Do your research, guys. This is the most important message I have for you today. Do your research. And Reggie is writing, I hear your baby. Yeah, he's just literally fighting his bath. And we have beautiful weather. He was out all day in the sun, sweating and playing in the grass. And really need his bath, and I apologize for that. We just switched my studio, and therefore this studio is not really sound isolated yet. It will happen soon. But as I said, guys, when you want to be healthy long term, don't let them damage you short term for maybe just getting rid of pain. You get like steroids or you get cortisone shot for your knee pain that will take care of the pain for 3 to 4 months, but it will destroy your bone, potentially your health, will potentially make you impotent, shrink your testicles. And these are all the things you have to really research before you let them do all these things. Because the trick they are using is, medicine is, for example, is a religion, it's not a science. Right? Medicine is based on belief. Oh, I believe it will help you. Or if you ask your medical doctor, what do I have? How did I get it? How do I get rid of it? And how long does it take? They have no answer because they don't know. Therefore, you need to ask the questions yourself and you need to educate yourself. The other horrible thing is they figured out about 150 years ago when they opened up caskets and coffins to resell the grave that a lot of people have moved in there after they were buried, or scratched even onto the ceiling of the coffin where they try to get out. That shows us a lot of people have been buried alive. And this is another really dangerous thing that I will address in a later in a later live stream. But it happened all the time. There were even a phase in Germany, I remember about 60 years ago, when they were talking about putting little antennas on the grave in the casket, so if you're still alive, you pull and the antenna comes up and they know you're still alive and dig you out, which usually you're suffocated until they get back to you. But there are so many things that are really, really horrible, like cutting out organs with an organ transplant or organ donation out of a living human being that feels all the pain, maybe not able to scream because they give them something to completely make them not functional. But if you know that they wake up, they start running around, they start fighting back, and that happens all the time, not just once in a while. So you should take the organ donation part of your driver's license, which gives them basically all the possibilities to do with you whatever they want to do. And they might not even save you, even if they could, because they might look in the long-term financial results and just let you go, or at least go to a stage where they can claim you're brain dead, which does not exist. You're alive or you're dead. There's no such thing as brain dead. And these are all the things you have to research, and I'm going to tell you about in my seminars. I'm going to start the Forbidden Health seminars, where I tell you all about these things that happen and are done to human beings, and that all in the name of science. So here is what I started to say: medicine is a religion, not a science. It's based on belief. And they use science like lab tests to make you believe medicine itself is a science, which is not. They show you the lab results. But for example, if you want to have your liver levels, they cannot take your blood and do a liver test just from one time taking your blood, because they don't know what you ate before, what you did before, the state your body's in right now. Basically, they would have to take it every hour and then accumulate 24 tests, and this is your real result. Just one time taking your blood doesn't give them anything realistically, scientifically. Then the danger of statin drugs, of course. The AC still makes me cough. And then statin drugs, the drugs that supposedly eliminating the plug in your arteries, in your veins, is the biggest fault ever. They say we eliminate cholesterol with the statin drugs. But your brain, my dear friends, is based from cholesterol. So the first thing that happens, your brain will shrink if you're on cholesterol-lowering drugs, statin drugs. And then it leads to hardening of the liver and kidneys and your entire body, your entire organs, and you might die just of the results of the statin drugs. Cholesterol is a good thing. There's no good or bad cholesterol. The HDL and LDL are not even cholesterols. They are transport proteins, where the good, so-called good cholesterol is bringing the new cholesterol that the body needs into the system, and the negative cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, is supposedly the bad one that harms your body, is when your body tries to get rid of the used up and the bad literally used up bad cholesterol out of your body. So the LDL and HDL test doesn't mean anything because LDL and HDL is not cholesterol, it's a transport protein. And lowering your cholesterol is extremely dangerous. And in my experience with 52 years of dealing with patients, has never really helped anybody. The opposite is true. They just die young and get sicker and sicker and get gray and unhealthy looking. Their brain function often has problems, and it might be the cause of Alzheimer's and MS and Parkinson's. And then there is a condition that they call the chemo brain, where basically the brain function is completely numbed. You live in constant fog, you cannot think clearly, and that's the result very often of chemotherapy, and they call it a chemo brain. Why I'm telling you all of this is because with the IBMS system, I want to make sure that you are aware of the responsibility you have, because it's your body, it's your life. And thank you for the comments, my dear friends. And for legal reasons, I cannot really give you specific health advice over the internet or here. We will be just deleted from the web portals. And therefore, you can just write me under IBMS at drleonardcoldwell@startmail.com. Startmail, like beginning something, starting something. IBMS at drleonardcoldwell@startmail.com. And please write me there, and we give you all the help we legally are able and allowed to do. I can basically cure every cancer patient that's willing to do whatever it takes in 12 days, but I'm not even allowed to talk about it. I cannot legally tell you how to get rid of cancer in 12 days, because this is unlawful. Most of all, there is a law there from 1939 created in England that it is illegal and forbidden to cure cancer patients. And interestingly enough, it seems like the entire Western world adopted this law, and it's basically illegal to cure cancer patients. While it is, in my experience, the easiest condition to fix is cancer, because remember, cancer is only the symptom of cause you have in your root cause you have in your system, mainly based on chronic stress. In my opinion, cancer is only caused by mental and emotional stress, living in constant worries, doubts, and fears. And that brings your immune system down so bad that the immune system cannot deal with this anymore. We have the macrophages, GCMF. Macrophages basically are part of your immune system that eat cancerous cells, half cancerous cells, damaged cells. And all of this will be harmed and stopped in function due to medical treatments. Also, lack of sunlight, lack of vitamin D, D3, is a major cause for the development of tumors or something they call cancer. So make sure you have at least 20 minutes a day sunlight on your body, basically at least a third of your body. You take your shirt off and sit in the sun, and don't let them tell you the sun is causing skin cancer. It does not. The sun cures skin cancer. I have cured skin cancer in patients, with patients, by putting hemp oil on it and putting them in the sun. And a very close family member of mine had a huge cancerous tumor, skin cancer, and we put hemp oil on it and put him onto the beach in Florida. and after 6 days it just fell off. Cutting skin cancer out cannot cure skin cancer. It just fixes the symptom for a short amount of time, and then it usually occurs somewhere else or all over the body. And I mean, you always have to do whatever you think is right. I'm not telling you to do something or not to do something. I'm telling you to research it before you make a decision and look for all the potential natural cures. And my new book is coming out shortly. Most of you know I have 25 mega best-selling books up to 29 different languages on the market, and my most selling book is The Only Answer to Cancer, which is still available through Amazon, but I have nothing to do with it. I still don't know who's even selling it there. So therefore it's not updated the last 30 years, and the links don't really work anymore to the websites I refer to. So my new book, The Only Cancer Patient Cure, you can get as download from drcdownloads.com, drcdownloads.com. This is my newest book, and it's a condensed information about 52 years of curing cancer patients. And if you read this book, I don't really think you will make the mistakes cancer patients usually do make or let the doctors do to them. Your doctor is not your friend. People, statistically, there was studies done that people that love their doctor or like their doctor die young, because if their doctor says you have 6 months to live, they kind of like die in this time frame to not prove their doctor wrong. Of course, it happened subconsciously. And to look at the root cause, Dr. Carl Simonton, with his cancer clinic in Fort Worth, Texas, wrote a very interesting book, Getting Well Again. And he concluded, after dealing with all these cancer patients, that most of them, 18 to 26 months before they were diagnosed with cancer, they had a traumatic event where they basically said, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live anymore. When basically a divorce happened after 30, 40 years, or they lost their job after 40 years, or their child died, they literally said, I don't want to live like this anymore. That's a subconscious suicide command, and your subconscious mind is constantly listening. Remember, we are born perfectly. Our immune system can deal with everything, even with the jabs people have gotten in the last years, with a fake pandemic, which is consists of snake poison, the poison of the snake of the king cobra, or the great snake from India. And a lot of people died from that, and we learned from Dr. Aris that nicotine is the cure for snake poison, and therefore the cure, or at least help, for jabbed people. Then in Japan there is a study that came out, if you are 100 days beyond your last jab, you have a pretty good chance, if you cleanse your system and live healthy and take the right kind of supplementation, that the jab is not killing you. And you should also go into this. I'm going to have this, all of this in my new book that's coming out soon. And we all need to learn, we need to research, and whenever somebody says, I can cure cancer, I can cure you, run. Nobody can cure somebody else. You're the only person that can make yourself sick. You're the only person who can cure yourself. And the IBMS system is a health manual for life. And I'm sorry. And and you should really learn how to take care of yourself, take charge and responsibility of your own life. I'm going to go live once a week now. Also go to my website, drleonardcoldwell.com, doctor spelled out, and then leonardcoldwell.com, where we always will post the newest videos, the newest information for free, of course, and write me to ibms at drleonardcoldwell@startmail.com. So it's really, really important that you learn from this live stream to take charge and control over your own life, over your own health. Don't let anybody talk you into something. If somebody says they can cure cancer, tell them, show me your last cured cancer patient that lived completely healthy 5 years after the first diagnosis, and they will not have anything. I have cured provenly 66,000 cancer patients or patients with autoimmune diseases, and we have millions of thank you emails, testimonials on video. We're going to download them also onto my website, because I'm not really somebody that just talks about things and then does not back it up. You can also go to 50yearsdrc.com to see what I did the last 52 years and who I am. And you can do your research there. But most of all, what I want to make sure of is you have to live with the consequences of everything you do to yourself or let them do to you. You're the only one that has to live with the consequences. The only thing that matters is the result. The only thing that matters is that you're pain-free, happy and healthy at the end of whatever you are doing. And chemotherapy and radiation and surgery prevent that you become the healthy person you were or you want to be ever again. It's not even possible, because the damage is done is too much. And today most people die from the treatment of the medical profession. Then there is the hoax of early detection. We know now that it's a patient creation hoax. So colonoscopies kill more people than it saves. So if you have an 80-year-old person completely healthy, all of a sudden he is dead, ask the loved ones if he just got a colonoscopy, because what often happens, they poke holes into the colon, which is not so flexible anymore in this age, and then the patient died. And also it happened with needle biopsies. A cancer is actually your savior. The body builds a bag to put all the poisons that try to kill you into this bag. That's what they call a tumor. And for example, if it's in a really functioning, working lymph node in the breast, and they say you have cancer there, we need to make sure, and they do a needle biopsy. It's like filling a balloon with water and then taking a needle and pinching into that. The water will spill out, and in the form of a needle biopsy, the cancerous tumor might explode and leak all the poisons that it has collected for the last 10, 15 years into your system, and usually 2 to 3 weeks later, the patient is dead. And I'm not telling you not go to a doctor, I'm telling you research your doctor, I'm telling you to talk to your doctor, ask them what they're going to do, what the results are, what the side effects are, and how many patients with your health problem they have cured. We have millions of testimonials that people got cured or cured themselves from cancer through my videos, through my books, through my live seminars. We're going to do live seminars again, and we're going to help you to understand yourself better. And if you are interested in the seminars of how to cure yourself from autoimmune diseases like cancer, or cleanse your system to a way that you're not dying on the effects of the jab, please write us to ibms at drleonardcoldwell@startmail.com, because that is the most important part, to get educated. If you are interested in health seminars, please write us. If we have enough people, I'm going to do the forbidden seminars, because they don't want you to know what I have to tell you. They don't want you to know what I have to show for as proof. with cured cancer patients and how they cured themselves or learned to cure themselves through IBMS. Because the IBMS system is an educational self-help system. Nobody can cure you besides yourself. Nobody can make you sick besides yourself. So if you want to learn how to reverse the wrong decisions, the bad things you did to yourself to make yourself unhealthy, we're going to have seminars if you are interested. And when my new book is coming out, The Forbidden Cures, then you will see how many maybe of your loved ones, like with mine, died unnecessarily if they would have had the information that I already published 30 years ago in my book, The Only Answer to Cancer. But The Only Answer to Cancer, as I said, is 30 years old. The Only Cancer Patient Cure, drcdownloads.com, can give you the right information, help you to do the right research. Always do the research yourself. You are liable and responsible for your own health, for your own life, for your own decisions. You're the only one that has to live with these decisions. And Nathan or Nathan, in case of your father, I would really research red beet and red beet juice. Red beet juice with apples so that it's drinkable. Otherwise, I personally cannot drink red beet juice. Tastes too muddy, too earthy, and if you put apple in it, it makes it more acceptable. For me, all these years, the best cleanse always was in the morning to drink on empty stomach a freshly made juice, 1/3 carrot, 1/3 apple, 1/3 celery. You might get diarrhea, so stay home after that, depending on the acidosis and toxemia you have, and make sure that you keep your body alkaline. Otto Warburg and Max Planck got a Nobel Prize in Medicine for proving cancer cannot develop, exist, or survive in an alkaline, oxygen-rich environment. And we know this since the 30s, but nobody followed it because it cannot be patented and it cannot be made billions for the pharmaceutical industry. Remember, the doctor makes money on your illness, not on your health, on your pain, on your fear, and they're using fear. Even if you're diagnosed with cancer and you say, I'm not doing the chemo or radiation or surgery, they try to involve your family, talk to your children or your spouse, and saying you are playing with your life with these natural hoaxes or whatever, however they call this. But health can only come from nature. Health cannot come from a chemical. And how come that they make everything that works illegal in use? We all know colloidal silver helps perfectly for inflammation, for infection, and a lot of conditions. That's why they made colloidal silver as medicine illegal, medical use illegal. You can buy the machines which give you really, really cheap colloidal silver, 80 or $100, and you can make with just distilled water the colloidal silver for free for the rest of your life. So basically, my dear friends, I want to leave you with this. Fight for yourself, fight for your health, take charge and responsibility, learn about the IBMS system, the instinct-based medicine system, listen to your instinct. Your instinct cannot be wrong. Your instinct is God talking to you. So we are all children of God. God is always in us and with us. It's not in a building. I don't believe in organized religion, which is only making you weak and powerless, manipulating you and trying to take power over you and take your money. And your religion should be yourself. There is a God, and the God is in you. And that's what you need to see yourself as a child of God. And I don't want to make it religious or give it a religious spin here, because I know God is there, God is everywhere in everything that lives. And if you learn to believe in yourself, you automatically learn to believe in God, and then listen to your instinct, and your instinct will lead you to better health, wealth, and happiness. Be strong, stay strong. Go to my website, drleonardcoldwell.com, doctor spelled out, and you will see how easy it can be to feel better, to get better, but most of all, stay positive. And I'm not talking about positive thinking, because positive thinking can literally kill you. If you run around and say, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, and do nothing, you might die. But positive thinking and positive action need to be combined. So think positive, think, I'm going to find a way to get and stay healthy. I'm going to find my way. And this is really, really important, that you find your way, your personal, individual way to health. And IBMS is a user manual for life, the user manual for health. And you can learn about it. I will also sell a home study course soon, so that everybody has complete access to all the 12 IBMS sessions that cured millions and millions of people and helped millions and millions of people, like my 9 million life seminar attendees, to create success, wealth, money, and happiness in their life. Because it's all the same. Something is wrong in your life, we caused it somehow, somewhere, very often subconsciously. That's why you need the IBMS coach or the IBMS training to find out, what did I do and why did I do what I did to make my life miserable in any part of life. This was your Dr. C, your Dr. Leonard Coldwell, drleonardcoldwell.com, IBMS at drleonardcoldwell@startmail.com. You find my email address also on my website. That was it for today. Now that I'm seeing you emailed me as well, I'm going to answer you and more complex. But the main thing is really apple and red beet, which is a good way to start for your father to improve his health situation. All the best to all of you. Remember, I've been at the pain you have been. I had myself nearly every kind of disease you can imagine and cured myself, so I learned, and I'm saying this on purpose, God taught me through my own illness and having to overcome it by myself to teach you how to get healthy and healthier and stay healthy. And it's all a natural way. There is no chemical, no surgery that can cure you. This, if you are in an emergency situation, you're in a car wreck, you're in an accident, and you have your leg broken and it needs to be fixed. Of course, you have to go to your doctor, to your emergency doctor, and make sure to not sign the general release form for the hospitals. Tell them, print it out, read it, cross out what you don't want, and then sign it. They don't like it, but they have to do it. And everything they do, it has to be with your consent. And you can only consent to something that you understand. And therefore you have to read what they do, let them explain what they do and why, and restrict their actions. Sign for somebody you trust, a patient authorization document. We're going to find one and put it on the website to print out, drleonardcoldwell.com. Stay strong, get and stay healthy, believe in yourself, do it yourself, rely on yourself. You're born to succeed, you're born to win. And my book, How to Survive Your Illness and Your Doctor, is also very valuable. It will come out in an updated format soon because it's sold out again. It's like in the 26th edition right now, but I'm working on getting it out again. And remember, my book, Stress, the Root Cause of All Physical Disease, is also very important because you need to learn to minimize and eliminate unnecessary stress, because stress is the main energy drainer, and chronic stress is a chronic energy drainer that can lead to the development of an autoimmune disease. Also, when you talk to yourself, do it always in a positive way. I'm a child of God, I'm healing myself, I'm healthy, I'm protected. God hold his protective hand over me and leads me in the right directions, and thank you for healing. This is kind of like what I do on a daily basis, because my scientific prayer is very simple. See, you cannot, every religious book in the world says we are children of God. So if you have a child, you don't want your child begging you for help, begging you for food. You just feed it or help. And the same is with God. God does not want us to beg. Please, God, help me, heal me. And so many people think God gives them an illness to test them. That's completely absurd. God does not give you an illness. And most of all, if He did give you an illness, why should He take it away just because you're begging for health? Take charge of your own life. That was you and Dr. Leonard Coldwell, better known as Dr. C. And Nathan, I'm going to write you. And Reggie, I hope you are fine. I haven't heard from you in a long time. And thank you for listening. I'm very appreciative because all my life I worked on creating a self-help system to help people to help themselves, to cure themselves. And in Germany, it's even illegal to write a book or publish a book that leads to self-help, self-healing. And so now with this medium, I'm going to do the same things in German so that I can get all my experience out of there. And I guarantee you that I believe I can cure, and I've proven it often enough, every cancer patient that's willing to do whatever it takes to get healthy again in 12 days and 12 IBMS sessions. So we're ending this now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time, and all the best.